Horror games have always drawn us in with their dark worlds and chilling atmosphere that makes our hearts race faster. What awaits us in 2025 and 2026 might be the most exciting, yet the return of legendary franchises and completely new experiences that will make us question where the game ends and the nightmare begins. From the haunting streets of Silent Hill, through the cooperative terrors of Little Nightmares 3, to the cold horror of space in Directive 8020, we're looking at titles that promise to redefine the horror genre. In this video, we'll explore 10 of the most anticipated horror games set to define the coming years. Get ready, because the nightmares are only just beginning. Resident Evil Requiem brings a brand new chapter to the legendary horror series. This time, we return to Raccoon City with a new protagonist, Grace Ashcroft, who uncovers dark secrets hidden in the shadow of the infamous Umbrella Corporation. The game combines third-person and first-person perspectives, creating a dynamic experience of exploration and intense combat against terrifying mutants. Graphically, Requiem uses the upgraded Ray engine and supports cutting-edge lighting and rendering technologies, making it the most realistic-looking entry in the franchise so far. What's especially exciting is that the story connects more deeply with previous Resident Evil games, with plenty of surprises and the return of some familiar faces. Scheduled for release in February 2026, Requiem promises to be one of the scariest experiences Capcom has ever created.
He's dead. Infected.
The Sinking City 2 takes us back to a dark, flooded city inspired by the works of Howard Phillips Lovecraft. The game blends exploration, psychological horror, and survival as players navigate streets ruled by fear and madness. Unlike the first game, the sequel features a larger open world and far more complex investigation systems. Every decision carries consequences, while the atmosphere constantly reminds you of an inevitable sense of dread. What makes The Sinking City 2 especially intriguing is its stronger focus on survival. Ammunition and resources are scarce, and enemies are terrifyingly unpredictable. Developed by Frogwares, the game is set to release in 2025 and promises to be one of the scariest experiences within the realm of cosmic horror. Silent Hill F brings an entirely new chapter to the legendary horror series, but this time the story takes us far from the familiar town. Set in 1960s Japan, it follows a teenage girl named Hinako Shimizu, who faces terrifying and mysterious forces beyond her understanding. What makes the game especially intriguing is that the scenario is written by Ryuki Shio7, the author known for visual novels that explore psychological horror and madness. And of course, the music is once again composed by Akira Yamaoka, guaranteeing the iconic atmosphere fans know and love. Silent Hill F blends classic fear elements with new ideas and a unique setting never before seen in the series. Scheduled for release on September 25, 2025, it is already being called the most ambitious Silent Hill game of the last decade. Ill is an upcoming horror FPS that promises one of the most terrifying experiences in recent years. The game focuses on survival in a world filled with grotesque creatures, with designs and animations so realistic they feel ripped straight from a nightmare. Developed by a small team called Team Clout, what truly sets the game apart is its attention to physics and environmental destruction. Every bullet impact, every wound on an enemy is shown in disturbing detail, making combat feel brutal and intense. Ill isn't just about shooting, it's about the constant sense of helplessness, as enemies are extremely aggressive and unpredictable. While it doesn't yet have an official release date, everything shown so far suggests it could become a new classic in survival horror.
Would you look at that? Gets me every time.
Come on, Galileo.
We've earned a little holiday, haven't we?
Directive 8020 is the first entry in a new saga of the Dark Pictures anthology, and it takes us into space, far from traditional horror settings. The story unfolds aboard a colonial starship facing a mysterious threat as the crew slowly descends into paranoia and despair. As with previous supermassive games titles, player choices shape the story. Every decision can mean the difference between life and death for the characters. What makes it especially exciting is the atmosphere, combining claustrophobic tight spaces with the terrifying unknown, creating a truly unique horror experience. Directive 8020 is planned for release in 2026, and many already consider it one of the most ambitious entries in the Dark Pictures series.
I was born here, but I grew up on the outside. I spent years trying to get in.
Why come back?
My parents, I had to find them. I needed to confront them about the past.
I love you. Never come back.
Hell Is Us is an action-adventure horror set in a post-apocalyptic world torn apart by war and chaos. The game combines exploration with brutal combat against mysterious creatures that seem to come from another dimension. What makes it unique is that it doesn't rely on traditional markers or GPS. Players must trust their intuition and navigate through a hostile environment. Combat focuses on melee weapons, with a strong emphasis on tactical planning and facing powerful enemies. Developed by Rogue Factor and led by the former creative director of the Deus Ex series, the game promises a deep story and an intense atmosphere. Scheduled for release in 2025, Hell Is Us is shaping up to be a truly unique horror experience.
All I remembered was that my father was the village blacksmith. There, I felt a connection to this country, to Hadia.
Choose your next move wisely.
You pissed off the wrong people.
I want to piece together what
nightmare, and you want to stop it.
It became my burden.
Look at you. Compromised by your emotions.
I won't stop.
Interesting. Let's continue.
End of Abyss is a horror adventure that takes us deep beneath the surface into a mysterious underwater world filled with fear and secrets. The game combines elements of survival, exploration, and psychological horror as the player tries to uncover what lurks in the dark depths of the ocean. The atmosphere is especially terrifying thanks to the claustrophobic feeling of moving through tight, pitch-black spaces where every sound and every movement could mean danger. Enemies are designed to blur the line between reality and hallucination, making the experience even more unsettling. Planned for release in 2026, End of Abyss is already being compared to some of the best titles in both cosmic and psychological horror. Little Nightmares 3 continues the tradition of eerie and dark adventures, but this time with a major new feature, a cooperative mode for 2 players. Taking on the roles of Low and Alone, players must work together to explore a world filled with bizarre and terrifying monsters. The game keeps the signature atmosphere of the series, with a strong focus on exploration and puzzle solving, but now with an added layer of cooperation and teamwork. Development has been taken over by Supermassive Games, bringing a fresh approach to the beloved formula. Little Nightmares 3 is set to release on October 10, 2025, and is already considered one of the most anticipated horror titles of the year. Tormented Souls 2 brings back the essence of classic survival horror with an atmosphere reminiscent of the early Resident Evil and Silent Hill games. This time, the main protagonist Caroline Walker returns for an even more terrifying adventure set in an abandoned town filled with mysteries and dangers. The game combines exploration, puzzle solving, and combat against monstrous enemies with limited resources that heighten the tension. Special focus is placed on atmosphere and claustrophobic environments, where every hallway could be hiding a new threat. Tormented Souls 2 is scheduled for release in 2025 and promises to deliver a true old-school survival horror experience. Heartworm is a psychological horror set in a twisted, distorted world where reality and hallucination become hard to distinguish. The game combines exploration, puzzles, and tense encounters with inexplicable creatures that threaten to shatter the protagonist's mind. What makes Heartworm especially intriguing is its use of procedurally generated elements, meaning each playthrough can be unique and unpredictable. The atmosphere is dark and intense, focusing on paranoia and a sense of helplessness. While the game does not yet have an official release date, everything shown so far promises one of the most terrifying and original horror experiences in the coming year.
In that house, there's a room that can take you to the other side. I just wanted to let you know, in case I don't come back.